So today we're going to speak about TED style presentations, right? TED style talks. And, this is a very popular format these days, not only in terms of the TED stage, but also more and more companies are holding presentations and holding their talks and meetings in the TED style. Well, before I give you whatever I have to give you, I would like to ask you why you think, TED is so popular, or why do you personally love TED? If you want, you can speak up, or you could write something on the chat. Ruslan, I'm going to ask you first to, to share your idea, if you don't mind.
Well, actually, I've never seen any topics like this, and I'm really excited to know something new about this. Yeah.
Right. Have you watched TED Talks? Have you ever watched TED Talks?
No.
Not a TED Talk lover yet.
I've never watched it. Yeah.
They say once TED, forever TED. Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, Maria is writing lots of useful content, nice speakers. Would anyone else like to speak up and share their ideas about why TED Talk is so popular? Why do you personally love TED Talks? You can just turn on your mic and speak if you like. Come on. Short and smart, Maria. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, fine. So yes, the general idea of TED Talk is definitely something short. Yeah, so the standard of a TED Talk presentation is no longer than 18 minutes. Today, because of the new formats, it is getting shorter and shorter. So you can see TED Talks that are just 5 minutes long or 10 minutes long. And, on the one hand, it's kind of challenging to wrap up your idea in such short timing, but at the same time, this is the essence of this format, to keep it short, to keep it simple, to keep it precise, concise, and understandable. And today I'm going to share a couple of things with you about what exactly creates the magic of TED Talk, why this format is so popular, and maybe you could also incorporate some of my tips and start delivering non-standard presentations, okay? So what makes a great TED Talk? The first thing, I need to do something about the screen. Just a moment. I will be sharing a couple of videos. That's why I need you to hear the sound as well. So idea number one is the focus simply on one major idea. So you see, the idea of a TED Talk is super clear. And here's one tip. That is the tip that was shared with me by a TED Talk organizer. Startup Language School collaborates with TED Talk organizers. And he said this idea, if you just meet a friend of yours over a cup of coffee and you say, yesterday I watched this TED Talk and the idea is like this. And you can just say the idea of a TED Talk in just 1 or 2 sentences. This is the essence of a TED Talk, that it will be super easy for people to keep sharing the ideas in a very simple and a short way. That's, sometimes when you come back from big forums, or from huge conferences, well, you have heard all these presentations, but you can't just immediately wrap up the idea of this or that talk, because there was so much information there, so much data, and so much everything. TED Talk is different. The idea is super easy, super simple, super clear, and it's super easy to keep sharing it. Okay, this is the slogan of TED, ideas worth sharing. Let me show you a video. You will see 3 ideas and the way they are verbalized by TED Talk speakers, and I would like to get your feedback about how simple they were to get, how easy it was for you to understand the essence of their ideas, okay?
Robinson, creativity is key to our kids' future.
My contention is that creativity now is as important in education as literacy, and we should treat it with the same status.
Elora Hardy, building from bamboo is beautiful.
It is growing all around us. It's strong, it's elegant, it's earthquake resistant.
Chimamanda Adichie, people are more than a single identity.
The single story creates stereotypes. And the problem with stereotypes is not that they are untrue, but that they are incomplete.
How was it, guys? Was it easy for you to grasp the essence of the idea? Please write something on the chat or just turn on your mic and speak up. Mm-hmm. 3 ideas in just 1 minute. How was it? Guys? Julia says it's cool. Not about the earthquake resistance stuff. Okay, all right. So that one was a little bit challenging. So look, basically what they do, they give a very simple, clear idea in just 1 sentence, and the rest of the talk, what they do in the rest of the 15 minutes is, well, first of all, they give the introduction, some kind of background, some kind of context of the idea. And of course, what they do next after they present the idea, they give some stories, some facts, something that will help you feel the essence. The whole talk is just 1 idea. And the rest of the tools that they're using is simply to visualize it from different angles. So you start sharing it so that you believe in it. And that is pretty much it. So what you can do in your next, meeting or corporate conference, you can just take 1 idea, make it super simple to understand, and use a couple of tools to make it to visualize it. All right. I'm going to share a couple of things with you today also on what exact tools you can use to visualize, to verbalize, to voice your idea. Okay, Ruslan, not 100% clear. Maybe because, well, it was just piece of the presentation, but if you watch the whole, you will see different visualizations, and that way it will become clearer for you. So,
Robinson,
tip number 2 about what makes TED style presentations or TED Talks efficient. Well, as you know, as I've already said, the slogan of TED conferences and TED Talks is, well, give people a reason to care. What that means, it's not just about you. It's really about them. So the idea is like this. A TED Talk needs to be a gift that you give your audience. So when they listen to you, when they leave the conference, when they leave the meeting, they need to feel that they have become a tiny bit more fulfilled, a tiny bit richer in terms of new ideas, new inspiration, and that they care about what you're saying. Yes, somebody raised their hand. Yeah, Magomed, you raised your hand. You wanted to ask something? No? How to do it? That's a great question. How to make people, how to make your audience care about what you're saying. And well, here's the picture. What do you think this picture is about, guys? What do you think it is about?
It's about being stupid.
Okay, maybe. Thank you, Magomed. Any more ideas? What do you think?
Hard thinking process, I think.
Okay, all right, brain work. Any more hypotheses?
It's about headache.
Headache. Okay, I really hope you're not going to have a headache while I'm talking to you. Okay, thank you, guys. You're being very creative. Look, what I was trying to visualize here is the pains that your audience might have. Yeah, and what I mean by the pains are their needs, right? So something that they're lacking, or maybe something that they're needing. And, you know, when you talk about audience, of course, you can think of like their gender, their professions, their, I don't know, marital status, their income or whatever. But what if you just think about the pains that they have, the needs that they have, something that you as a speaker could help them with? Something that will make them care about what you're saying, because it's just going to be useful. And if you approach this idea from this angle, your role as a speaker is to speak the language of their gains, to meet their needs, to give them something that will treat their pains, that will help them relieve their pains, right? Something that will give them, I don't know, a different worldview, a different mindset, something that will help them relieve their pains and relieve their problems. And this is the point about like preparation for the for your presentation. Actually, not necessarily just the TED style presentation, but any presentation that you make. Before you go on stage, before you start writing any text, before you even start writing an outline or whatever you do, just think about it. What are your audience's pains? What do they need? What do they lack? What kind of problems do they have? What can you give them? What could be the gains? What will they learn from you? How will you help them relieve their problems, right? Solve their problems, overcome their constraints. And this is exactly the goal of your presentation. How to come up with the idea for the goals, you know? Start Talk Language School has this project which is called Public Talk, and we help people to prepare TED-style talks and exactly master the format of TED. And this is what we start with. We give them a simple task. Just try to think of a verb that you will tell yourself before you go on stage. I will go on stage in order to do what? To inform the people, okay, give the information, or to inspire the people, give them the inspiration. Or maybe you want to charm the audience, right? Or maybe you want to surprise them. And this will be different delivery, right? Depending on what your goal is and what action verb you use in order to, well, somehow, you know, tune yourself up before you go on stage, the methods that you will use, the tools that you will use, the ideas that you will use will be totally different. Tony Robbins overpowers the audience. Probably that is the goal, yeah. Or you might be begging the audience, I don't know. So think about it before you go, before you deliver your next presentation. Just think about it, like, what is it that you want to do? Do you want to fight? Or you want to help? Or you want to inspire? Or you want to beg? And the tone and the tools and the content will depend on that. And yeah, on the right, you can see the book that is written by one of the co-authors of our project. And she exactly explains how this technique works. So it's a great book. It's rather short, but it's super easy, super simple, super clear. And well, I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. So after you have set yourself a goal for your presentation, test style presentation, regular presentation, I don't know, business presentation, client presentation, you start building your idea. And the trick here is, you know, not to overpower your audience with your expertise, but to make it simple and to make it understandable and to make it comprehensible for your audience. So, well, clearly that depends on who your audience are, right? I don't know, if you're a marketing specialist and you're going to give a marketing presentation to other marketing professionals, so probably if you use these or those terms related to marketing, it will be clear for them. But what if you want to give a marketing presentation to non-marketing audience? Probably you need to change something about your delivery and about, well, things that you speak about, simply to accommodate the content to the needs and to the expertise of your audience. So the idea is like this: keep it simple and build your idea with familiar concepts. Look, I will show you an example of how it works. Do you happen to know who Simon Sinek is? Have you ever watched his TED Talks? Simon Sinek? This guy? You know, I'm a visual person. So, for example, I'm very bad at names, but I'm very good at faces. So sometimes you may ask me, like, do you know this or that person? And I will have no idea. But when then I look at the picture, I'm like, yeah, sure, of course I know. Okay, Maria knows, Magami doesn't. So let me show you one episode. His speech, his talk is about leadership, okay? And he's gonna use the tool which is called analogy. All right, you can use analogy to make it clear and to make it sound familiar to your audience. So let's watch.
To face the dangers outside and seize the opportunities.
Now.
The closest analogy I can give to what a great leader is like being a parent. If you think about what being a great parent is, what do you want? What makes a great parent? We want to give our child opportunities, education, discipline them when necessary, all so that they can grow up and achieve more than we could for ourselves. Great leaders want exactly the same thing. They want to provide their people opportunity, education, discipline when necessary, build their self-confidence, give them the opportunity to try and fail, all so that they could achieve more than we could ever imagine for ourselves. Charlie Kim, who's the CEO of a company called NextJump in New York City, a tech company, he makes the point that if you had hard times in your family, would you ever consider laying off one of your children? We would never do it. Then why do we consider laying off people inside our organization? Charlie implemented a policy of lifetime employment. If you get a job at NextJump, you cannot get fired for performance issues.
Okay, so what is the analogy that he uses? He's talking about leadership, right? What's the analogy that he uses?
To be a leader is the same to be a parent.
Right, being a leader is the same as being a parent. So the analogy is family, right? And family is the concept that is familiar to all of us. Some of us might be parents, some of us might not, but we all have parents, or, well, if we don't have parents, we still have family. So you see, how was it, Vladislav? Was it easy for you to understand the concept of what he's talking about?
Quite easy.
Right, simply because the analogy that he uses is familiar to you. You can kind of associate leadership with a parent and a company with a family, and it becomes super clear to you, right?
Sure.
Right. Mohammed, yes. Okay, right. So this is one of the tools to use the analogy in order to make your idea sound simpler and clearer and more understandable for your audience. What else? And tip number 4, the essence of TED Talk, of TED Talk presentations. Make your idea worth sharing. And what does that mean? If people, there is in marketing, there is this concept of word of mouth. And at the same time, you can make your idea and your presentation viral. Simply if people keep retelling your story, if they share it with their friends, if they share it with their family, if they share it with their colleagues, that's how your idea becomes viral, and that's how your idea becomes worth sharing. And this is the essence of TED Talk. Each of the TED Talks is worth sharing. These are great ideas, and I'm sure that each and every one has amazing ideas that are truly worth sharing. The trick is how to deliver them, right? And clearly, I mean, the best author, the best expert on the topic is Chris Anderson himself, and the founder of TED. And definitely, if you haven't read the book, his book, right? It could be a good idea for you to read it if you are interested in the topic and if you would like to learn something new about, how exactly it works. Did you already talk about the tools to visualize? Not yet. Analogy was one of the tools. Yes. And yes, this is what, Magomed, thank you so much. Yes, this is what I'm going to speak about in my next part of my presentation. So, how to prepare for a presentation, for a talk. It could be about TED, it may not be about TED, but here is the structure. Here is the structure of a classical TED Talk. And in fact, after you have seen the slide, if you watch another TED Talk, you will automatically start analyzing it. It always has a catchy start. It always has some extraordinary out-of-the-box introduction. So you will never, ever, 100%, never hear a TED Talk that starts with this typical expert slide, the photo, PhDs, the job, and so many facts about a speaker. You will never ever see it in a TED Talk. It is always a catchy start, and it makes sense because, as I said, the TED Talk is very short. It's, usually from 10 to 15 minutes. And the slide about how big of an expert you are, first of all, it eats up your time. So you just lose time. And second of all, honestly, do you care about what kind of a big expert I am? If I just give you this slide about how many jobs and titles and I don't know, achievements I have got? Please answer my question. I do. Okay, Olga, yeah. Well, some do. Well, most don't. And, you know, I think, well, what matters is what I have to share rather than all my achievements that I just, you know, pop onto you at the very beginning.
However, we need to know, why are you the presenter? Why are you? Why do you think you are qualified enough to present something? That's why, and therefore, we need more info about your background, about your maybe jobs and education. And I think that a lot of people will inquire about some info about you, like why should we listen to you if you are not like an expert?
Right, you're absolutely right, Alona.
Can I add?
Sure, Magomed.
Even the experts can be stupid and they can make mistakes.
That's true. You know, even experts are still people, right? Are still human.
Yes, yeah, I totally agree. But if you share some experience, we need to know that, yes, you're not like came here from the street and that you really had the experience you would like to share.
Right. And yes, Alona, thank you so much. And I will comment on how to make a catchy start, but how to make it expert and how to make it out of the box, not in a non-standard way, in a tiny bit, okay? But I do agree with you. Of course, each of us needs some expertise. Usually the speakers are introduced, and I will just share a couple of things of how to make it in a non-standard way, but still preserve the idea of the expertise. So a catchy start, clear sequence, how you develop the idea, then your key idea, then some stories or facts that support your idea, a strong message, strong conclusion, and each and every TED Talk finishes with some inspiring ending. It could be call to action. It could be some great big idea that people would like to execute or would like to follow afterwards. This is the structure. It's typical. Clearly, each and every TED Talk is a tiny bit different, but you know, if you just watch some more TED Talks and if you analyze it and if you give me your feedback about about the structure, about the catchy start, and you just text me, write me anytime, like what you think about it, it would be great. I would like to hear from you. So I have a question for you. How to make a catchy start? Apart from giving a slide with your picture and your profile, what else? What else can it be? Let's think outside the box. Maybe someone would like to speak. Shocking statistics. Okay, what else? Some other ideas from you? A little personal story. Yeah, Olga, why not? Why not? Storytelling, you know, it's a very cool technique. A joke. Yes, Julia. Yeah, a joke never hurts. A joke is a great idea for sure. What else? Come on, one more. I know you're all creative. Yes, Vladislav.
We can speak with the audience. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, you can ask them a question, right? Or you could ask them to raise their hands or like ask a question or an academic question. Yes. An academic question is a rhetorical question that doesn't need to be answered. Yeah. Do we all love to live? Well, the answer is yes, right? Okay, thank you. Well, here are my ideas that I would like to share with you. Academic question, so a rhetorical question that doesn't need to be answered, but well, the answer is usually yes. If it's a closed question, like, do you all, I don't know, love to live? Yeah. Do you all, I don't know, admire the world? Yeah. Or maybe it could be an open question, like, what makes Apple so innovative? What makes a great artist? Yeah. Well, this question cannot be answered easily. And that's exactly what your topic is going to be. Exciting fact. Yes, some shocking statistics. Somebody had this idea. Yeah, Olga, you had. So exciting fact could be a great tool. A storytelling, you're right. History or background of the topic, where you give the context of like why you're speaking about what you're speaking. A quote, yeah, so you can probably quote somebody big and then develop your story based on that. Vote, yes, Vladislav, it was you who said it, so you could start with, okay, which ones of you have ever experienced anxiety? Something like this, right? Pains, so something that you think is a problem with the audience or the problems that they might have, and a joke. So look, what I would like to do now, I would like to look at a couple of TED Talks, and we will watch the beginnings, the starts, the introductions, and I would like you to recognize the technique that this or that speaker is using, all right? So let's start with Simon Sinek. I love him, absolutely. My story to TED Talk started with him, and I love everything that he does. So let's watch.
How do you explain when things don't go as we assume? Or better, how do you explain when others are able to achieve things that seem to defy all of the assumptions? For example, why is Apple so innovative? Year after year after year after year, they're more innovative than all their competition. And yet...
So what do you think is the technique that Simon Sinek is using? You can speak or write on the chat.
He asks a question to the audience and then he answers it himself.
Right. Absolutely. This is an academic question. And that's exactly what he's going to speak about. Well, I just don't see your name because you have a picture and that's why I don't see the name. What's your name? The person who has just spoken?
Hi, it's Olga.
Yeah, Olga. How was it? How did you like this beginning?
It was good, catchy.
Catchy.
When somebody asks you a question, you start to think, and it becomes interesting because you want to hear the answer. Right.
Absolutely. This is how you engage the audience into your talk. You ask a question, it strikes their brain work, right? They have some ideas and they're curious about what's going to be the answer, right? Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's move on. Sorry, guys. 1 second.
Talent.
Hold on. 1 second. Just a moment. Hold on. Okay. Let's watch the second speaker.
Hi, everyone. 2 years ago, my life changed forever. My wife, Kelsey, and I welcomed our daughter, Leela, into the world. Now, becoming a parent is an amazing, amazing experience. Your whole world changes overnight, and all of your priorities change immediately, so fast that it makes it really difficult to process sometimes. Now,
what's the technique?
A story.
Right. Storytelling. How was it? How did you like it?
It was good because it was a personal story, and when somebody shares something about himself, it's also catchy.
Right. You engage with them also. Yeah, you start visualizing, and well, here he used two techniques. Yeah, of course, like the picture of the daughter, it definitely made a certain impression, right? But at the same time, why storytelling is so powerful? Because we like to listen to people's stories because, well, it's easy to visualize them, it's easy to empathize with them, and definitely a personal story is a great idea, even for a business presentation. Okay, let's move on.
I am a writer. Writing books is my profession, but it's more than that, of course. It is also my great lifelong love and fascination. And I don't expect that that's ever going to change. But that said, something kind of peculiar has happened recently in my life and in my career, which has caused me to have to sort of recalibrate my whole relationship with this work. And the peculiar thing is that I recently wrote this book, this memoir called Eat, Pray, Love, which decidedly, unlike any of my previous books, went out in the world for some reason and became this big mega sensation, international bestseller thing, the result of which is that everywhere I go now, people treat me like I'm doomed. Seriously, doomed. Like, they come up to me now like all worried and they say, aren't you afraid you're never going to be able to top that? Aren't you afraid you're going to keep writing for your whole life and you're never again going to create a book that anybody in the world cares about at all, ever again?
So, guys, what's the technique? What do you think? Come on. Any ideas? Okay, Alona, what do you think? Alona.
A personal story plus joking, probably.
Right, yes, the personal story plus a joke, plus some kind of, antithesis there, right? A paradox that she's using. And, this is a somewhat of a self-presentation, right? But at the same time, look, the way she presents it, she doesn't go like, hello, everyone. I'm a writer of this bestseller. Welcome me on stage, right? On the contrary, she's joking about it. She's making fun of it. See? And you're like, wow, that's something new. That's out of the box, right? And you want to see, like, where is it going? What's going to happen? Like, seriously, she has this question. Seriously, she's kind of concerned. Like, really? And again, like, it's about breaking the stereotypes about how it is conventionally done and how it can be done out of the box. So the next one, let's have a look.
When you have 21 minutes to speak, 2 million years seems like a really long time, but evolutionarily, 2 million years is nothing. And yet in 2 million years, the human brain has nearly tripled in mass, going from the 1¼ pound brain of our ancestor here, habilis, to the almost 3-pound meatloaf that everybody here has between their ears.
Mm-hmm. What's the technique here? What do you guys think?
Joke plus some statistics.
Yeah, shocking statistics, right? And a joke, for sure. Yes, absolutely. So see, these are very different. All the beginnings are different. Like there is no standard to it. Yeah, and you can be creative about it. And this is the beauty of a TED Talk, that it lets you be creative about what you say, how you say it, and what techniques you're using. All right, one more for you.
Good morning. How are you? It's been great, hasn't it? I've been blown away by the whole thing. In fact, I'm leaving. There have been 3 themes, haven't there, running through the conference, which are relevant to what I want to talk about. One is the extraordinary evidence of human creativity in all of the presentations that we've had.
Well, the technique is evident. What is it? Mm-hmm. Vladislav, what do you think?
I have a joke and a question.
Right. Actually, I have a question for you. Why you can see that there are jokes everywhere, right? It's not a stand-up. It's a TED. Why do you think they're all making jokes? Vladislav, what do you think? At the beginning.
Это располагает к себе.
This is just an
Right.
ice-breaking technique.
Ice-breaking technique, right? A good laugh, a good joke, a sense of humor is something that gets your audience on board, right? It makes them engage with you. Well, you're in the same boat now. And yes, a tiny little joke never hurts, even if it's a business presentation. So I'm going to skip this one. Finally, things about what's essential about a TED Talk. It's about the attitude of the speaker, right? What are you there for? What is your goal? Are you there to share, or you are there because you want something from your audience? And here I would like you to watch an amazing video by Simon Sinek. And again, I'm sure that the idea that he shares, the idea that he voices is going to turn your world upside down, simply because you will have a different view of how people deliver. Are you a giver or a taker? And that's the question that every speaker needs to ask themselves. And maybe that is the question that you need to ask when you're watching this or that presentation. So let's watch it, because, you know, it really wraps up the whole idea of any TED Talk, because it's just amazing. Let's watch it all together.
Do what you...
What do you tell people when they ask you, how can I present like you? How can I get better?
The thing that really, really helps is I've learned about the perspective to change my perspective. So for example, I show up to give. And I always remind people that the most important thing about being an effective presenter, an effective speaker, is you have to show up with a giving attitude. You have to show up to give. You know something, you've seen something, you've done something, you've tried something that someone else thinks others need to hear. That's why they invited you to speak. The problem is the number of people who show up to take, to get. And you can see it, it's very plain to see. People ask a question and they say, you'll have to buy my book. Or you could just tell me the answer because you know the answer because you wrote the book, right? But clearly they're trying to drive book sales. It's a taking mentality. Every single slide of their PowerPoint has their Instagram, their email, their website, their Facebook. Well, clearly they want you to follow them. They want you to reach out. The last slide is their website and their email, right? They have a taking mentality. They come up and the first thing they do is tell you their credentials. Hi, my name is Dr. Blah-de-blah, I have 6 PhDs, I've worked for 55 companies, I advise CEOs and generals, and let me tell you a little something. It's about them. It's very easy and very quick to discern who's the giver and who's the taker. The best speakers, 100% of them, you look at all the top TED folks, Sir Ken Robinson, Amy Cuddy, Brene Brown, right? Dan Pink, all of them are there to give. None of them want anything from anybody, not even your approval.
Mm-hmm. Who would like to wrap up the idea? What's the idea of a TED Talk speaker? I mean, the concept of the giving mentality. Who would like to wrap it up? Ruslan, maybe you?
Well, I'm not sure, but I think that some of them makes money on you, and another one sharing some knowledges with you, and that's the difference, I think.
Right. What are you there for? Are you there to take something from your audience, or you are there to give something to your audience? And I guess this is the essence of TED Talk. TED Talk speakers are there to give, there to share, there to help, there to assist. And probably, I mean, this idea of sharing, the idea of giving can really help you in all kinds of, reports that you give, presentations that you make, the meetings that you hold, and people are going to feel that. People are going to feel, they're going to tell the difference between the taking attitude and the giving attitude. And the last thing that I would like to share with you, it's a bonus video. It's here, you can find it on the QR code. It's not long, it's around 7 minutes, but it's super fun. On this video, you will see a guy who, kind of jokes around and makes fun of all the TED techniques. And Magomed, this is going to answer your questions, a question about the tools that TED speakers use. Sorry. So you will see how he acts, and probably you could incorporate some of the techniques that TED speakers use. Well, today we have talked about the essence of a TED style presentation, and we have looked at some tips, and we have dwelled on the beginning. Clearly, there is much more to share, and I really hope that we will continue our workshops on various topics. And if you like me or my colleagues to keep on talking about TED presentations, that would be great, because that could be our next topic. Why not? So to wrap it up, what are the key tips? Show your passion and connect with the audience. Passion, how you feel about it, your giving mentality, your giving attitude is something that is definitely be valued by your audience. Focus on their needs, not on what you want to get, but how you can really help them and how you can assist them in relieving their pains and solving their problems. Keep it simple. Remember that, there might be non-professional audience there. If there is non-professional audience, think about how they're going to perceive whatever material you have to share with them. And we have looked at the idea of an analogy that can help you explain some big concept in a simple way using an analogy which is clear and familiar to your audience, like the one with the family analogy for leadership. Smile and keep eye contact. It's really hard to do that during Zoom meetings when nobody has their cameras on. But if you have the chance to see your audience and look in their eyes and see their reactions, definitely it's going to help you as a speaker. Start strong. Make a strong start. It doesn't necessarily have to be a slide with your credentials and all your titles and all your jobs. It can be something different. And today we have looked at multiple ways to do that along with the examples. I haven't spoken on the voice and the body language, but these are the things to consider as well. And if you like, I could speak about it next time. And finally, it's a great thing to enjoy what you're doing, and definitely being on stage is super hard. It's super scary. Absolutely. Everybody is afraid. Even Tony Robinson is afraid, I'm sure. But there are certain techniques to enjoy that. And as soon as you enjoy it on stage, the better you're going to do as a speaker.